Joining us on the panel, Brad Hirschfield, president of CLAL and author of You Don't Have to Be Wrong for Me to Be Right. Someone should tell that to Ryan. And Adam Thompson, senior partner at the law offices of Adam M. Thompson and Syndicated talk show host. Okay, Brad, let me start with you. What did we see from Ryan today?
Look, I actually love the evil twin theory, though I don't think that's what's going on. What we know is politicians split more hairs than my barber. I think if you listen closely, he made a pledge. I'm not defending him or detracting, but he made a pledge on the Today Show that he will support. He said, I'm not there yet. I think he's playing politics. Do I think it's wise? Do I think it's good for the Republican Party? Those are separate questions. But I think that Donald Trump is giving it right back to him. So I think the real story here is that Trump lived by the sword, died by the sword, for better or for worse, has said, I don't necessarily need the party, I need the American people. And Paul Ryan is very committed to the party and his ideology. So he's saying, I'm not sure I need Trump. Do I think eventually they will come together? I do. Do I think it's incredibly likely Trump is the nominee? I do. Do I think the chairman is going to stand there at the head of the convention and say, I'm not going to back our nominee? I don't. I think he's playing politics. I don't think it's wise, but I don't think it's terrible.
What about it, Adam?
What a fraud this Paul Ryan is. It makes me sick.
You go, right. Girl. You go, girl.
When Donald Trump was talking about, I will run as a third-party candidate if the Republicans do him dirty and give him the business, boy, did everybody jump on the bandwagon that Trump's no good, and you have to vow and pledge you'll support the party. Now that Trump jumps through all the hurdles, makes it all the way through, knocks everybody out, now Paul Ryan says, well, I'm not really going to support the nominee. What a fraud this guy is. It makes me sick. Trump should give him the business back, and I hope this guy gets voted out of office. I think it's disgraceful, and we all know why he's crying. He was hoping to be a broken convention, and guess whose name he wanted thrown in the hat? His. Sorry, Paul. No presidency for you. And on top of it, no free peace election.
Brad is shaking. All right, Adam. Brad is shaking his head no. But Brad, then we don't know which twin brother we're listening to. He has said he would not run, but then today he said wait, Brad, Adam, wait. But today, Brad, Ryan said I didn't think it would be over this soon. I thought it would go to June. Thought it would go to the convention. So he's a little shell shocked. Maybe his evil twin said he wouldn't accept the nomination, but he would.
No, I think actually Ryan is smart in this regard. There's no angle for him in accepting the nomination. Now, I don't think he ever wanted it. He's young. He has a future. If you ask me, does he, like almost everyone else in Congress, dream of the Oval Office? Yes. I think he's smart enough to know this isn't his time, so I don't think he's angling for that. I think, Adam, you're right. He is kind of giving it to Trump, and they're going to have to play this out, and that's a party issue. But I don't think he's looking for, is disappointed that it wasn't brokered so he couldn't be the guy. I think he did hope would be brokered and someone he considers to be a conservative would be the guy, and that's an interesting conversation.
By the way, we have breaking news, Adam, before you weigh in. CNN is reporting that Rick Perry and many people, just today, his name came up as a possible third-party candidate. Rick Perry is endorsing Donald Trump, and he's open to being Donald Trump's vice president. So you want to weigh in on that, Adam, or whatever else you wanted to weigh in on?
He should absolutely never take Rick Perry as a vice presidential candidate. He should take someone from the field, someone who hasn't been in the nomination process so far, someone who hasn't been involved, a fresh new face. He's thrown too much dirt at the competitors to get him out of the picture. Why would you then pick someone that you already vilified and said is an idiot? It's part of your ticket. He's got to pick someone new.
All right, let's go to the phones at 877-NEWSMAX. Folks, 877-639-7629. First up, we go to Las Vegas, Nevada, or as the late Art Rush Jr. used to call it, Lost Wages, Nevada. Stacy. Hello, Stacy.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing great.
What can we do for you tonight?
Well, I actually have a little bit of interesting something to say about Paul Ryan. Back in 2012, the reason why Romney carted him out, I don't know if you remember this, but when they announced him as vice president, they were trying to push him off as kind of a libertarian streets candidate. They were trying to say, oh, well, he reads Ayn Rand, he listens to Rage Against the Machine, he does P90X, which I guess is a way of saying that he was a CrossFitter, which lots of libertarians are. They were trying to get the libertarian vote because Ron Paul had a big following in 2008 and in 2012 at the convention. So, I mean, this guy just seems like he'll tap dance to whatever tune the establishment plays for him. You know, hey, go out and say you're a libertarian. He's got some nerve with this $1.1 trillion omnibus bill. He's got some nerve.
Would you like to,
does.
Stacey, would you hope that his challenger beats him in the primary in his district?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well,
I'm
with you. Thank you, Stacey. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Adam.
Yay, Stacey, good for you. People are going to be very upset by Paul Ryan pulling this, and don't be surprised if you see him getting voted out. It's like she said, he's trying to be a chameleon. He's a conservative, then maybe he's a moderate Republican, maybe he's more of a libertarian. Listen, be who you are. Don't you see the writing on the wall? Trump is getting the votes and support he's getting because at least he's being him. Love him, hate him, he's being himself. All these other people are frauds. Anything that Paul Ryan's doing is actually tearing down the Republican Party more because it's not doing the will of the people.
And Brad,
respect the will of the people.
And Brad, in that interview with the Today Show in January when he said he would back the nominee, Matt Lauer brought up as an example of things you disagree with Trump. He said the Muslim plan, right. and Ryan said, well, that's not where the country is. Right. In state after state, over 60%, over 65 to 70% of Republican voters backed Donald Trump's Muslim plan, and nationally polls show that the country is more in tune with Trump's plan than Hillary's plan, which is Muslims have nothing to do with terror. So Paul Ryan is even out of touch there.
Look, I don't know if he's in touch or out of touch. The fact of the matter is that plan would never make it. I understand the emotional appeal. I reject it completely. I think he's right that it is un-American, that it is unhealthy, and it is unwise. But I absolutely understand that when people are killed, when people are blown up, when people are terrorized, they're going to lash out. And so if the response to Donald Trump is a kind of chilly lecture about constitutional law that bypasses the authentic emotions of being under threat, that is actually as foolish as Donald Trump willy-nilly lashing out. We're going to have to find a place of genuine American constitutionality and genuine security consciousness.
There's nothing unconstitutional about keeping someone out of this country. Nobody has a right, as a foreigner, to a constitutional right to come into this country.
It's not a religion-based test. That's unconstitutional.
Well, if a certain religion is dedicated in part, if members of a religion are dedicated in part to killing us, and they've been killing us, guess what? Then you got to say it's a religious political belief. Anyway, I don't want to get tied in that. Let's go to Rich from Salt Lake City. Hello, Rich.
Hi, Steve.
Hi.
Yeah, I agree. This is a crybaby deal, and I wanted to comment. He has not only an evil twin out here in Utah, Mitt Romney, but also Mike Lee. They're the two adopted twins. They're the triplets.
Well, I was talking about him himself having his own evil twin, like why he said what he said on the Today Show was one brother, and what he said today was the other brother.
Oh yeah, he has a way. Oh, he'll say what it takes. It's like Ted Cruz. I'll say what it takes.
Who would you like to see as Trump's VP? While we got you here, Rich.
Well, I've voted Republican all my life. Before I comment on the VP, I just want to say that I regret having voted for Mike Lee and Mitt Romney. I think they used and abused not only the party, and now they're downplaying the party, and they're going against it.
No, I don't think politically speaking, Romney is in tune with Mike Lee. To be honest with you, you may be lumping them for another reason, but certainly Mike Lee is much more of a conservative and a constitutionalist than Mitt Romney is.
Yeah, well, there's grandstanding here in Utah that the last couple of days that they're still with the Ted Cruz bandwagon.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. All right, Rich, I appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, Adam, who would you like to see? There's a report today that we had at Newsmax that Ben Carson, as we established yesterday, was in charge of the vetting committee for VP for Trump, but that it appears that Rubio may be out. I'd like to see Rubio remain on that list, especially if Suzanne Martinez and Portman and Haley and others are saying no.
Here's one outside the box. You want to expand the Republican base and really show that Trump isn't going to do what all the party insiders do? Why not consider Libertarian Gary Johnson? He's a former governor. He has the chops. He says a lot of good speaking points that actually go in line with a lot of Trump positions and a lot of Republican positions.
Yeah.
Now, taking an outsider, that's one possibility.
Yeah, Brad is
look for a female who's an elected official.
Yeah, he's going to do it. He's going to do an elected official, so he says, Brad.
I think he has to. I understand your choice, Adam, but it doesn't help the ticket. So if, again, it comes a question of, do you want someone whose ideas you like, but also someone who advances the ticket, who moves you towards victory? I don't think, for the reasons you said before, Adam, even though I appreciate, Steve, your point, that Rubio would be an interesting choice, but I'm already picturing all the recordings that the Hillary team took of him insulting Rubio along the way. And so I think that becomes very difficult. That's why you can't feed the opposition too much along the way, or you get into trouble when you go head-to-head.
Guys, the panel is staying, and we're going to keep taking your phone calls. That's what Newsmax TV is all about, folks. We talk, you talk, we talk to each other, and we share our opinions, and this is a very unique opportunity. Where else in prime time on cable news TV can you do this? Answer is nowhere. 877 Newsmax, 877-639-7629. Call. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on the Steve Malzberg Show with Brad Hirschfield and Adam Thompson. And we're going to continue with your calls, but I want to add something else into the mix. The Department of Justice has now warned the state of North Carolina about their transgender bathroom law. Our John Bachman of Newsmax TV has more on that.
Something we've never seen regarding Washington overreach in my lifetime.
Governor Pat McCrory and North Carolina Republicans not backing down after the Justice Department called their bill unconstitutional. The DOJ says the so-called bathroom bill violates the Civil Rights Act by requiring people to use the bathroom matching their birth certificate. McCrory says privacy is now in jeopardy thanks to the Obama administration, but the governor is dealing with his own backlash. Bruce Springsteen and Pearl Jam canceled events in the Tar Heel State. PayPal also scrapped a plan to bring 400 jobs there. And Donald Trump is even bashing the bill.
People go, they use the bathroom that they feel is appropriate. There has been so little trouble.
He also had no problem with Caitlyn Jenner using the ladies' room in Trump Tower.
Got a trans woman in New York. I got to take a pee.
At least for now, that won't be happening in Pat McCrory's state, even with the feds threatening to sue and withhold hundreds of millions of dollars from North Carolina. I'm John Bachman, Newsmax TV.
All right, let's weigh in on this. Adam, I'll start with you. This is the same Department of Justice, okay, that now will not use the word, people who are released from jail, they won't refer to them as felons or convicts because it hurts their feelings. What the heck are we doing in this country?
Well, I tell you, the Department of Justice is a mess, and it's been a mess for a while. Well, let's just focus on this one issue. You know, if people want to use a particular bathroom based on what they feel that their gender really is, not based on birth gender, but what they think it is and what they relate to, I really don't have a problem with that. I think Donald Trump is right coming out and speaking in this behalf, speaking for people that maybe otherwise won't have a voice. But ultimately, North Carolina is going to do what it wants to do. If they're going to go through with passing this, it's certainly going to be up for an appeal because it's going to be challenged. And trust me, when it gets to the Supreme Court, I think it will be overruled as unconstitutional. On this one, I think the Department of Justice legally is calling it right.
All right, Brad.
Look, it's not an overreach in the sense that the Department of Justice has done this in lots of situations. So for perspective, it's not surprising. It turns out if you support the law, you're outraged at the DOJ. If you don't support the law, you think they're in the right. What I have a problem with is when rock musicians, including the boss, who I love, boycotts the entire state because of a political disagreement, or when employers that would help people get real jobs and put food on the table boycotts the state. That's a problem. This is a political, legal issue. Let it play out through the system. But to stand on a stage and keep other people from earning a living is just wrong.
And Governor Cuomo won't let New York State employees to go there on business, but yet he goes to Cuba, where there are people in prison for their political beliefs. It's a bunch of hypocrisy. Let's get back to the phones. Laura from Cambridge, Minnesota. Hello, Laura.
Hi there. Well, I want to first say that I am a Republican because I don't believe in one-size-fits-all government solutions. I do believe that a top-heavy federal government can make matters worse instead of helping. I think more should be done by the states. Commenting on the will of the people, you know, it's not a monolith anymore. It's a very bipolar kind of culture. We do not agree any longer on what even the good is, let alone how to get there. I also think you shouldn't throw rotten eggs at Paul Ryan yet. Donald Trump says he's going to unite the party. Well, where is he going to start? He's alienated, insulted, and defamed everybody who could possibly support him. So where is that rebuilding going to happen? And I would hate to be in Paul Ryan's shoes right now. I would proceed with caution.
Yeah, but Laura, why did he change from January 13th to now?
Excuse me?
He changed from January 13th. He said he would support the nominee.
Oh, yeah. And didn't everybody who stood on stage as a candidate, as a nominee, say, I will support?
All right.
But,
Laura, I appreciate the call. A very intelligent conversation. I got to go. And I want to thank Brad Hirschfield. And I want to thank Adam Thompson. And we're going to come back with Congressman Tom DeLay. More calls after that. Don't go away.